Ottawa home prices are projected to rise again in 2026, but not in the way that most people expect. Some cities are booming, others are crashing, and Ottawa sits right in the middle of a national affordability shakeup. But will 2026 be the right time for you to make a purchase in Ottawa? Well, today we're breaking down exactly where Ottawa stands compared to Canada's top 10 housing markets and whether you should be worried about rising prices in 2026. Hey, I'm Curtis Sernoskie and I'm a real estate agent right here in Ottawa. And every day my team and I help buyers and sellers just like you achieve their real estate goals. My phone number and email address are on the screen right now, so call or shoot me a text 613-277-6075 or send me an email serno@royallepage.ca and I'd be more than happy to help. According to the 2026 Royal LePage forecast, Ottawa's projected aggregate price by the end of Q4 will come in at $789,000, and that's up about 2% from 2025 and higher than the national average, which is expected to rise by 1%. That puts Ottawa firmly in the middle of a tier of affordability among other major Canadian cities. It's far more affordable than the GTA and Vancouver, where housing prices average still over $1 million. But it's also more expensive than places like Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Regina, and Quebec City. So Ottawa's not cheap, but it's not out of control either. It's one of the most stable markets in the entire country. So let's quickly look at the year-over-year price changes expected by the end of 2026. Some cities are seeing big gains. Quebec City is going to be up 12%, Montreal 5%, Regina 4%. In Ottawa, you may ask, up 2%, the same as Halifax and Edmonton. Meanwhile, Toronto is expected to drop by 4.5% and Vancouver by 3.5%. So that raises a big question. Why is Ottawa still going up while some of the major markets are cooling off? And the answer comes down to stability, a large public sector workforce, steady immigration, and chronic supply shortages. Ottawa rarely booms, but it hardly ever busts. Here's the real story. Ottawa is becoming less affordable, but just not at the same pace we're seeing elsewhere. The median price for a detached home is expected to rise to $907,000, and that's up 3.5% compared to 2025. And this will make it tougher for families to break into the single-family market. Condos will remain a little bit more attainable with a median price of around $408,000, which is still competitive compared to most major cities and far cheaper than Toronto or Vancouver condo prices. So if you're shopping in Ottawa, the affordability pressure is real. But we're still not facing the same prices like the most expensive regions. Ottawa's 2% growth is moderate, it's not surging like a big city, it's also not declining like Toronto or Vancouver. But it suggests that there's a steady upward pressure consistent with Ottawa's stability. Ottawa remains moderately affordable relative to income and highly affordable relative to Toronto and Vancouver. Ottawa is also becoming less affordable, but at a slower pace in the higher price markets. So should buyers be worried in 2026? Yes and no. Yes, in the sense that prices are going up, but no, as it's not the kind of rapid surge that makes the market unmanageable. Ottawa is becoming slightly more expensive each year, but the growth is stable, predictable, and nowhere near the extremes we see in bigger markets. And if you're waiting for a price crash, the data shows that we're simply not headed in that direction here. In fact, Ottawa's projected aggregate price of $788,000 will come in only behind Vancouver and Toronto. And that actually makes us the third most expensive major region in Canada when it comes to housing prices. The good news is Ottawa is still 25 to 30% more affordable than Toronto or Vancouver. Just behind Ottawa is Calgary, which will come in about 12% more affordable than Ottawa. Actually, Royal LePage Team Realty President and broker of record Jason Ralph had this to say about the Ottawa housing market in 2026, saying, quote, "We expect activity in the Ottawa housing market to return to more typical levels, with prices increasing by low single digits. Sales activity should follow more cyclical rhythm, a brisk spring market, a slowdown during the summer months as families take vacations, and then another boost after Labor Day. Both buyers and sellers are adjusting their expectations to reflect market realities, and overall, Ottawa's real estate economy continues to prove its stability and resilience. With increasing demand, steady prices, in a market environment that remains fundamentally healthy, we expect to see continued strength through 2026. Of course, there are other large factors at play that will play a factor with regards to the affordability and supply levels in the Ottawa housing market. Interest rates, inflation, the local job market, and U.S. trade relations could all affect housing prices. Interest rates have a direct impact on what homebuyers in Ottawa can afford. The Bank of Canada recently hinted that rates could be paused for the next little while after the third quarter GDP came in a little higher than expected. So even a small change in rates can significantly affect buying power. For example, A 0.5% increase in the interest rate can reduce a maximum mortgage a buyer qualifies for and also limiting the price range of homes that they can actually consider. Rates also influence the pace of the market. Higher rates tend to slow home sales, giving buyers more negotiating power, while lower rates can spark competition and drive quicker sales, especially in popular neighborhoods. For existing homeowners, rising rates can make refinancing and moving more expensive, which can reduce the market turnover. In 2026, interest rates will play a key factor in shaping Ottawa's housing market, affecting affordability, buyer decisions, and the overall pace of sales. So, what does this all mean for you? If you're planning to buy in 2026, the sooner you start preparing, better positioned you'll be, especially with detached homes climbing faster than the rest of the market. If you want help breaking down the market, or if you're considering buying or selling in Ottawa, reach out anytime. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop any questions you have in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.